National Guard Colonel and Florida Congressman Michael Waltz calls the treatment of these guardsmen despicable. He joins us now. Colonel, thank you so much for being with us this morning. We've seen the photos of you there on Capitol Hill, talking to these guys, supporting them. You've also seen your governor there in Florida say, that's it. This mission, as he called it, is half-cocked. They're coming home. Talk to me just overall, treatment of the National Guard, their ongoing mission. We're hearing reports they'll be there for a couple more months, up to 5,000, 7,000 troops. What do you make of it all?
Well, the treatment is disgusting, and it is despicable. I'm hearing that members and staff were complaining, and that's what drove the Capitol Police to then ask our guardsmen and women to leave.
Oh,
I want to say I offer my office. I offer every facility I have for them to stay in. And I want to be clear that I'm speaking in my role as a congressman, not as a colonel in the National Guard. But I want to know what mission analysis, what threat reporting is driving this presence. To have 5 times in D.C., 5 times what we have in Afghanistan and what we have in Iraq, 2.5 divisions sitting on our nation's capital. And we have to remember, guys, that this isn't the active duty military. This isn't their day job. These men and women have lives. They have jobs.
Yes.
They have businesses. Many of them are single parents that had to make arrangements for their kids. And they did this on just a few hours' notice for what rightly was an emergency and a failure of law enforcement. Guard should be they should be an option of absolute last resort.
Real quick, Colonel.
And now it seems like they're becoming Nancy Pelosi's private police force. And that is not an appropriate role for our men and women in uniform.
Real quick clarification. Are you saying that some members or some staffers complained that there were too many National Guardsmen still in the halls sleeping around, and that's why the request was made to put them into a parking garage?
That's what I'm hearing from, obviously I'm in touch with folks on the ground, and that is just disgusting. It's telling, though.
It is.
I want to get to the bottom of it. But the bigger question in my mind is it an appropriate use of our military to be standing 15 feet apart, literally staring at a fence? I mean, literally, that's what they're doing. And if that's going to be the mission going forward and they're going to be out of their lives, remember, they've been activated for COVID. States still need them for vaccine distribution. They've been activated for natural disasters, record hurricanes and wildfires, social unrest, which was happening over the summer and is still ongoing in parts of the West. And they have the restrictions while trying to maintain their civilian careers and their civilian families. All of those things need to be taken into account. I'm going to be asking those hard questions. What are the threats that are driving a number of 6,000 to 7,000 going forward in the coming months? And what's the mission analysis behind that?
Yeah, and Congressman, you mentioned COVID. We now know that there are at least 100 positive tests among those National Guardsmen that were confined in that area and pretty much sleeping on top of each other. No surprise there, based on what we see in a lot of those images. I want to shift over to another topic, though, that's been on a lot of people's minds, could have potentially pretty big consequences, and that is the likelihood or possibility of D.C. statehood. Jen Psaki weighed in on that at the White House. Let's listen to what she said, and then we'll talk about it.
The president has supported D.C. statehood in the past. That certainly remains his position, but I don't have anything for you on the timeline or next steps there.
So the D.C. mayor saying we're going to bring it to his desk. What happens here?
So, a few things here. Obviously, politically, that's 2 more senators for the Democrats. And this, the D.C. statehood issue, rather than being a separate bill, has been included in Nancy Pelosi's H.R. 1, which will radically change the way we vote in this country to make it match what they do in California, ballot harvesting, dropping the voting age to 16. This is part of the effort to basically normalize how California does things and make it nationwide. The other piece on D.C. statehood that folks need to understand is our federal capital shouldn't be subordinated to and under the direction of a state entity. And that's what, that's why the founders put it in the Constitution.
Exactly right.
But this is naked politics, right? And to make it a much steeper to ever come back in the Senate or the House. That's what's going on here.
Congressman, we talked about this before the Georgia special Senate runoffs. Would there be an attempt by the Democrats at the top of their agenda to coalesce power? Certainly pushing for D.C. statehood would help, as you pointed out. That adds 2 more senators. One of the only things that stands in their way, by the way, is the Senate filibuster. But they're also going after that. Here's the filibuster, which would require 60 votes instead of 50, and Kamala Harris breaking the tie at 51. Here is the newest member of the squad, Jamal Bowman, going after the filibuster. He tweeted the following: "The filibuster is a pillar of upholding white supremacy. It's time to end it." Your thoughts?
Well, this is falling into the bucket of just throw the term of racism on anything that you want to change. Look, the filibuster is to have bipartisanship. You have to get the other side on board, because it's very rare that this one side or the other has over 60. If you drop that down to 51, it is Katie bar the door in terms of stacking the Supreme Court, going after the Electoral College, D.C. statehood, changing the way we vote. Another thing that's in that bill from Nancy Pelosi is banning any state from asking for voter ID, the integrity of the vote. This is a massive power grab on their.
We're losing the conversation.
Because otherwise, then that is a headlong drive towards socialism.
There you go. Colonel and Congressman Waltz, perfect guest today. We're losing your shot a little bit, but what you gave us was amazing. And if you find the names of those staffers and congressmen who complained about those pesky National Guardsmen in the hallways, please bring them to us so we can talk about this.
Hey, how about we fund the police and let the police do their job?
Well, novel idea.
Interesting. Yeah,
for sure. Thank you very much. Have a great Saturday, sir.
Yeah, take care.